Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Ryan, Gamer Tag Dad, and today we are looking at a new Elden Ring build. Today we are playing as Thor, God of Thunder. We are showing how strong he is against one of the quickest bosses in Elden Ring and how viable he is within PvP. We are using the full Cadian armor set, the brick hammer with lion's claw. In our flask we have the lightning shrouding cracked tier and the faith knot crystal tier. Our talismans include the lightning scorpion charm, Axe Talisman, the Dragoncrest GreatShield and the Shard of Alexander. This is a 150 build that focuses on strength, which is 80, and vigour, which is 60. The rest of the stats are 15 mind, 29 endurance, 10 dex, 10 intelligence, 15 faith, and 10 arcane. We are also using the Electrify Armament for increased lightning damage on our weapon, and we use Flame Grant with Strength for the physical damage increase of 20%, 15% in PvP, and it does give us a recovery of stamina by an extra 11.1%. We use Golden Vow for an increased damage of 15%. This is reduced to 7.5% in PvP, and all damage negation by 10% and 5% in PvP. Right, now we're coming up against the biggest troll boss in the game in my opinion, Gideon. All he likes to do there is talk about his master plan and how great he is. So we go ahead and smack him down with a bunch of lion's claws. Now we are about to shift into some PvP. We've got one clip of doing the Unga Bunga Boink straight on someone's head as they tried to do it to us. Then we've got the whole fight straight afterwards. I spent a fair few hours doing PvP with this build just to try and suss it out and see what the pros and cons were. Huge pros is you could do an insane amount of damage if you can land your lion's claw, and actually you can fake people out by having two brick hammers on you with two different levels of Ash of Wars on them. I think I ran the Lion's Claw on one and I think I had the Lightning Strike on another, which did confuse a few opponents. I haven't actually put them in here just because the clips weren't exactly the best. But this is the Unga Bunga one. We go ahead and both essentially do it at the same time, but I do mine slightly quicker and land it straight on his head. But we are going to shift on to the full fight of this, and it was actually quite a fun fight because it was a bit of a unique build. I didn't expect Lion's Claw from them, and I also didn't expect Mage at the same time. It's probably one of the funnest fights I come up against, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now we're moving into the whole fight itself, and as you can see, it hits like an absolute truck. If you can go ahead and get your original buffs up, which is exactly brilliant, it's kind of exactly where you want to be. If you can't go ahead and get your buffs up, it's not the end of the world because you're still going to hit like an absolute truck if you can land these Lion's Claw. If you are struggling a little bit in PvP with the Lion's Claw and you aren't quite landing them, where you're finding you're getting absolutely destroyed, go ahead and swap it up to one of the various other lightning ones you can get. We can also kind of use Lightning Ram. It's kind of fun to use. Don't know whether it fits fully with the Thor build, but it's lightning based, so you know I'm going to count it. It is a lot of fun to curl up in a ball, kind of like Sonic the Hedgehog, and just roll at your opposition. You will find that you can go ahead and change quite a few of your talismans within this build, especially when it comes to PvP, because you can either go for full damage negation, which is what I have got on this build. You can go ahead and throw on the Axe Talisman or the Claw Talisman, depending on if you're doing charge attack or jumping attacks. You can use the Shard of Alexander if you're going to be using your Lion's Claw a lot. If you're not going to be using Lion's Claw, you can go ahead and change it up with either something like Millicent's Prothesis, if you wanted to, because you can land a successful amount of attacks if your opponent doesn't move. I know it's more for a quick based build you would use it for, but I did find if you can go ahead and get a few attacks in it, you are definitely going to benefit from this. Especially if you have hit them with a Lion's Claw and they decide not to get out your way afterwards. And it's kind of perfect because you're doing a huge amount of increased damage. If you have made it this far and you are enjoying the Elden Ring build, don't forget to drop a comment down below to let me know what build you'd like to see as well. Leave the video a like and drop a sub. We are going to be making a few other videos outside of Elden Ring, such as Remnant 2, which will be coming up, but we're only going to be focusing on From Software games or From Software-like games, such as Remnant 2. And we're going to be looking at Armored Core 6 later on, but not right away, obviously, so it's not out just yet. Now dropping back into PvP, you can have a lot of fun with this. This guy, his build was so much fun to come up against because you didn't really know what the hell you were coming up against. He had magic, he had fire, he had a katana, he had Lion's Claw. It was just all over the place, and it kind of led to a really amusing fight and a really fun fight to do, which is why I've put this clip in over the other clips I did come up against, even though I guess they're better to present the build itself. but I felt like this guy needed a special shout out just because it was fun, and I did end up still dominating the fight, so I could still use it, which is perfect. Does this build have any weaknesses, you may ask? It has a few. I wouldn't necessarily call them weaknesses, I would probably call them playstyle problem, which for me, I'm a very aggressive player and your defense is not very high. I do use the Dragoncrest shield for this to help damage negate, and obviously we've got Golden Vow on as well, which obviously gives you more damage negation. The Blight is a bit reduced when it comes to PvP. I think it's by 2.5% reduction or 5% reduction in PvP, which isn't huge, but you know, it's still something to have. If you're doing PvE and you are a very experienced player and very good, you can also put on the Ritual Sword Talisman if you're going for like a no hit with Thor, and you're going to be doing increased damage. Obviously you're going to destroy your targets even quicker. Now I'm not quite at that level yet, I will be eventually, but at the moment I tend not to use that talisman for this. But the mandatory talismans for this would be the Lightning Scorpion Charm, and obviously having your Flask full of your Lightning Shrouding cracked tier as well, just because you get those huge boosts, especially when you're electrifying your weapon as well, because you go from no lightning damage to full lightning damage. Now, if there was an Ash of War that allowed me to throw my hammer, like Thor does within the films, this isn't a Marvel-based Thor build, this is more of a Nordic Thor build. But if we were going to throw in the Marvel side of this, it would have been nice to be able to throw the hammer and just be able to pin people down, but I get that would be extremely broken and overpowered within this. Now, we are coming to the end of the video. If you have all enjoyed this, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more Elden Ring content and From Software Games content.